One of the things that's interesting to me is that J.D. Vance and this whole America First movement, they talk about getting into these never ending wars where you commit Americans troops to them. And J.D. Vance likes to kind of use as props some of his friends that died in Afghanistan, I believe, which was where he was located. Maybe it was partly in Iraq as well, but nonetheless, his he likes to use them to talk about why it is that we shouldn't be in these never-ending wars. Here's what's interesting to me about where we are today. If you look at what's happening in Ukraine, that's not a never-ending war with the United States being involved in the middle of it. We're just giving them weaponry. And by the way, by doing that, we weakened Russia. And by weakening Russia, they couldn't be supportive of Syria, couldn't be supportive of Iran. Iran then had an inability to be supportive of Hezbollah. So when Israel was done fighting with Hamas, they went over and took out Hezbollah. After taking out Hezbollah, they're now going back and knocking out these nuclear facilities. The only question is whether or not we're going to lend them our bomber or lend them our bomb, which they may or may not be able to carry on their existing transports. I've heard a lot of differing arguments on it. But again, it's somebody else doing the fighting, and we're providing money for them. I find that to be interesting. And most importantly, think that it's helping us reestablish a deterrence. And to me, this is all about deterrence. How do you make the other side believe you cannot keep pushing the line on us? And if they believe they can't, they won't. And if they believe they can, we're headed for something that's going to be a bigger war. But in saying that, most of these decisions come down to the president to be able to execute on, and in many cases, to actually go into something that looks quite like a war without actually having one. What's your thought about not only what's happening in the Middle East, but how that relates to presidential power?